Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep 'em flowing. Where do you come from? Where you going? What are you feeling tonight? And what are you showing? Where do you come from? 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 Where you going? What are you drinking tonight? Let's keep 'em flowing.
I see if they up their money to 40 instead of 30, then I probably would have made a deal. 40.
Interesting. Well, this is the download. Welcome. We are chatting live. And we've got quite a couple stories to get into this week, so thanks for joining us. This week we're going to be talking Black Ops 6, as well as Spider-Man 2 announcing that there's no DLC. I wanted to bring it to the panel as well. Plus, Elon Musk has got some crazy plans and everything this week and in between. So let's get into it. And I lost all my floating squares. We had some internet issues, so right before the show, apologize for starting late, but let's get into it. Let's start off by seeing what everyone's been gaming on this week. Oh, wow. I got like double vision here. Yeah, let's start it off. We'll start with Wilson. What have you been gaming on this week? What have you been up to?
Bro, I've barely been gaming this week. I got a little bit of Dragon Age 2 in before I set off, but as you know, I've been on vacation, as it were. I've been staying over with my partner in Edinburgh for the past few days. So yeah, not a lot of gaming yet. Not a lot of gaming. I do have GFN, but I've just not found the time for it.
Well, hey, it's good to get away. Good to take a little bit of a break. Makes gaming all that much better when you come back to it. Let's get into Callie. What have you been gaming on? What have you been up to this week? Thanks for joining.
Yeah, no, thank you for the invite. I've been playing some Killing Floor 2 and some Alan Wake 2, preparing for the new DLC that just released. So, just been playing a lot of horror and, just in time for season.
Yes, and I heard you have a badge of honor as well. I want to give it up to Callie for surviving the first opening scene of the Terrifier. I hear that's a achievement on its own. So GG's to that one. Let's get into the rest of the panel. What have you guys been up to? Jem, what have you been gaming on this week?
Over the weekend, I was playing Card Shop Simulator. Had my own shop. Started spraying people with deodorant cans across the street, and people didn't even come to my store, but I had to spray them just for the public safety of everyone. And yeah, that's pretty much what I played most. Yeah.
Nice. I hope that nobody gave you any counterfeits. let's get into this. Maker, what have you been gaming on this week?
Well, I've been playing. Finally beat Inquisition and Dragon Age Inquisition and its DLC just in time for Veilguard.
bro.
Yeah, and then I've been playing Fortnite and surprisingly Roblox. One of my friends. Oh, I've been also playing Resident Evil 7. So yeah, that's my spooky game of the month.
I mean, you've been playing
Which
Booty
is
Chaser.
the scariest Resident Evil. I have to say, it's a good game. But yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Yeah, when I played, I think it was 7, and you're going to like find your girlfriend or fiance or something like that. She stabs you in the arm with the axe, and I was like, you know what? No, this is not gaming for me. This is turn off, and I want to play something fun and light. And that was the last I ever played of that game. But Resident Evil is not for me, man. Shit's too scary. Shit is too scary. And that's why I probably wouldn't survive the first scene of Terrifier. SBG, what have you been gaming on this week?
Man, I've been running around Night City with Johnny Silverhand stuck in my head, trying to be the Batman, the inner Batman I always knew I was. And yeah, that's about it, man. Just running around, cheating in games. You know me.
Oh, that's funny. Vet Supreme
Yes.
Vet. What have you been gaming on this week? What have you been up to?
Nothing much. I haven't really been gaming on anything. I've just been sitting in this Discord with you guys, just hanging out, doing a few things on social media, watching football, hosting my amazing sports show with my buddy Ray, and that's pretty much it. Trying to recapture first place in the fantasy league because somebody decided to steal the top spot, which that'll be dealt with come Sunday.
That's
I mean,
right,
Monday,
everybody.
Tuesday.
If you weren't aware,
Oh, God.
in a game
Oh,
that
see,
we are
dude, you
playing all
just had to open your
together.
mouth, Ed.
Yeah, I walked
Let's
right into
pull
that.
up the sleep. Let's pull
Why
up
did
the
you have to
sleeper
team
app.
up, Vet?
Are we
Seriously, why
seriously?
did you have to team
Seriously, no. This is a
Because
game
this is a
show.
game
Nah.
we're all playing together, and I just
Oh
wanted to
my
go over the
God.
standings.
Yeah,
Don't you pull
yeah.
up the
Gaming
sleeper
And there you
news,
have it.
I
Don't you
win.
dare.
There you have it.
Game
Rudix
news, I
on the
win.
top
Oh,
as
whatever.
number 1. Into week 8. And I'm sorry, if you're looking for Ray, I gotta scroll down a bit further. Yes, he's
Seriously,
down
you
there.
went
at the
there.
bottom.
Seriously, you went there. Oh my god. Oh, payback.
Oh.
Payback to you know what, dude. Payback to you know what.
But this is a game we're all playing together. I thought I'd bring up the standings here. Rudix in first place. Anyways, Ray, what have you been up to this week? What have you been gaming on?
Just on the bottom of the fantasy league. But anyway, guys, I've been playing Once Human at a new server update, and it's kind of like, it's called The Way of the Winter, where you are dealing with the cold and the snow. Me and Houston, we restarted the server, and I am having a blast playing that game. Plus, I've been playing a lot of Marvel Snap, and I just dabbed in some Black Call of Duty.
Whoa!
Whoa, that was a Freudian slip, everybody.
Whoa!
Call of Duty. I've been playing some Call of Duty. Just started playing Call of Duty, and yeah. All right, get me out of here. Get me out of here.
He been slapping the black booty. They finally changed the game, right? They made it more fun.
Yeah, see, Kelly, this is what we told you. It's better now.
Yeah. This is what happens when you play with PC mods. But let's get into all of the gaming news we got this week. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 could boost Game Pass subscribers by 2.5 to 4 million people. This is a analyst prediction, all right? So this didn't happen. I guess people are excited and they want to write these kind of articles to get the clicks off. But while Game Pass may benefit, analysts suggest that the move might result in a loss up to 6 million in sales for the game itself, as players opt in for a subscription service over individual purposes. And the impact is going to be long term. So the true success of adding Black Ops 6 to Game Pass depends on Xbox's ability to retain these new subscribers even after the initial excitement surrounding the game's release. So my question to the panel is, what is this experiment going to go through? Do we have predictions on whether it's going to work out for the benefit of Xbox Game Pass, or will it work out for the benefit of Call of Duty or the gamer experience? So let's get into the panel. We'll start at the top, and this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top, going to go through people, 3 or 4, and then we're going to just continue that pattern throughout the show. So we'll start with Wilson, and yes, that means I'm going to get to Callie, who's going to throw his hate and say this game is trash, but that's the point of the download. We're going to have some
Should have
fun
started
here.
at the bottom. Should have started at the bottom.
1 and 6, bro. I think Callie has... Anyways, David.
Call of Duty. What about it? What about it? What was your question?
My question is,
Oh
do
my
you think
God.
that
Jesus
this will
Christ.
benefit Game Pass, or do you think it'll benefit Call of Duty and the production of games? This whole thing is an experiment that's happening right now, and something's got to give. Will something get better, or will something get worse?
It's kind of crazy, right? I mean, Call of Duty has always been one of those big blockbuster games, right? Ever since it released, the ones that you can't argue the fact it costs $70 because it just does, and every version of it does every year. But now with this whole Microsoft merger thing, the availability of getting it on Game Pass, I mean, phew, it does change it a lot, right? Like, but it's not to say that big games like Call of Duty. I mean, Call of Duty, people love their solo campaigns, but the way that that game stays alive and all of the previous ones stay alive until the next one is through their multiplayer, right? Through their live service, and we see live services go free to play all the time. The more successful live service, Fortnite, is completely free to play. So. It's not, it doesn't mean failure, but it's definitely they're trying something new. We were talking earlier, and I don't know if we're going to bring this up later in the show, about new in-game purchase options for Call of Duty, really bizarre ones, right? So maybe they're looking to get their money back there by creating a bunch of different in-game purchases, and then you go, well, since I didn't buy Call of Duty, I don't mind spending a $5, I don't mind spending a $10, and if enough people do that, maybe it'll outweigh the fact that they're not going to sell as many copies. But yeah, I couldn't give you a definitive answer on this one. I think it's a big move. It's a wild card for them, and it's definitely going to be very like experimental, you know.
I agree. It's an experiment, and we're right here at the forefront. So let's jump it into Callie. Callie, do you think that this will be better for Call of Duty? Do you think it'll be better for Game Pass? Do you think it'll be better for gamers?
I think it'll be it's gonna be better for Game Pass and gamers alike, because this is Call of Duty is a big known name for in gaming, just like Madden and FIFA. All of those are gonna be selling regardless of whether they're good or bad, or and I think that this is going to help Game Pass quite a bit, and it's going to help gamers as well, because as we all know, we all have those Call of Duty memories where we're like, oh man, you remember playing Call of Duty, Black Ops 1, when we were on that map with JFK, and et cetera, et cetera. And now we
It was
have
Nuketown, right? Remember Nuketown?
yeah. And now we have
Yeah.
now we're gonna have more kids, saying, "Oh, Call of Duty, yeah, I remember playing that growing up." And so I think it's gonna it benefits both. I think it can benefit both.
This Call of Duty Zombies was the last remnant of a game mode being unlocked after completing the game. Because at World of War, Call of Duty, you had to complete the campaign, and then you unlocked this zombie mode. And then that spurred craziness obsession over an extra mode in a video game. I just feel like that went away, and Zombies is a last sort of chef's kiss to that. But Dorgon, I wanted to get your opinion. Thanks for jumping into the chat, and awesome watching those speed runs today. But I wanted to ask you, who do you think is benefiting from this transaction, and how do you think this experiment will go moving forward with Call of Duty Black Ops 6 being introduced to Game Pass?
I think it's a bit of a dangerous thing for Microsoft to be courting with. Call of Duty is one of those known sellers. One of the problems Xbox has had in the past few years, past decade, if we're being honest, is actually selling games. Call of Duty is one of those that they could just release, change nothing after buying the company, and they would sell more than they knew what to do with. It would suddenly change their business overnight. I understand what they're wanting to do by adding it to Game Pass, but this analyst is saying that those between 2 and 4.5 million new subscribers is kind of new in inverted commas. It's people upgrading from core and standard, which don't get Call of Duty included, up to the ultimate tier and spending that £3 to £5 or the $5 to $10 more per month.
So the PC standard tier, so Game Pass Ultimate, the one that's Xbox and PC contains it, but just PC Game Pass, and that's the level above core, that won't have Call of Duty. Is that what you're saying? I didn't realize that.
Core won't have it, standard won't have it. Console only, if you are on one of those legacy console only subscriptions, you are getting just the campaign. You don't get any of the online stuff or any of the multiplayer. Okay. If you're on Ultimate, you get everything. If you're on just PC, you get everything. So it's a convoluted mess the way they're bringing it to Game Pass anyhow. And it kind of undermines the whole day one on Game Pass deal because there's two that aren't getting it and one that's only getting part of it. I don't know. I think this is just, it's a move that will artificially inflate numbers for a short amount of time. And then I think Game Pass will go back to the plateau that it's already at. I don't see this being a big thing for Game Pass. Not long term, anyhow.
Well, there you have it. Gonna get some... Oh, somebody did not like that answer. But that's okay. Let's jump into the next one. I want to keep this boat moving. We have Black Ops 6, so we're keeping the boat moving, but we're staying in the same stream here. And this is one that we were chatting a bit backstage about. Black Ops 6 hides better audio behind DLC. So I wanted to get people's opinions on this. Basically, the article is discussing the game's new audio feature, 3D audio, and this feature is only available for those who purchase the game's digital deluxe edition or the season's pass. This article also mentions that the 3D audio is available for free on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S consoles. So I'm a little bit confused on this, and I believe we were trying to figure this out, get to the bottom of this backstage. Jem, I'm gonna give you the option. Do you want to hit it to Maker, or do you want to start this off? Did you understand it?
Give it to Maker. He was going to say something.
Yeah, Maker was a bit versed on this one. Can you let us know what's happening? Because am I told that I have to buy the deluxe, go above and beyond my Game Pass just to get better audio?
I mean, technically, yes. I believe the regular 3D audio will still be available, but the thing is, it is a new built-in support for a third-party audio tool. It's kind of similar to like how Dolby Atmos is a subscription. It's going to be enhanced headphone mode by Embody, which is a company. Their immerse spatial audio technology, and you have to basically pay $20 for a subscription for 5 years for Embody, so that you can utilize that.
No, that's why would that not be in the game? What?
Is that, because it's made by a separate company, I believe.
Correct. Isn't it that a version of it is in game, but it's the universal version, and if you want one that is customized to you, then you've got to pay this subscription?
Yeah. Let me see.
So the
here.
audio is already good in Call of Duty.
Well, it says included as part of Black Ops enhanced headphone mode is a universal head-related transfer function profile, which has been specifically created for Call of Duty Soundscape. Optionally, Activision said, players can choose to enhance the HRTF experience even further by creating a personalized profile that takes into the player's physical attributes, including shape of the ear or head. Customizing is accessed in-game and completed by using Embody's personalization portal. Um, yeah, I believe the entirety of any of the Embody software and stuff like that does require the purchase of $20. So,
And then I
I
guess
think
you
you're
need
just
headphones that acquire this, and then you need to go through a whole thing. I just don't understand why this
Which,
isn't a feature
Microsoft
built
have
into the game.
just released.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. 3D audio standard is in there, and if you want to customize it, I guess, to your ears. But it's an odd thing. I would say don't even offer it at all. I don't even get it.
Well, you say that, but I mean, there's people out there that will buy it, and if it's extra money that they can make just for a few people wanting wanting to throw money to feel extra fancy about their sound, then yeah, why not? You know what I mean? Why not offer that service?
I guess if you're an audio startup and you made this deal with Call of Duty, this would be huge for you. So I'm trying to look at it from this small company or this company, the audio company's perspective. But yeah, I just think it's an odd move to obviously have two tiers of gamers, and a subscription cost, not just a one-time fee. That's what hurts as well. Like you hate to see that. But yeah, any more wanted to get into this vet? I know that you're not a big fan of this one, but I think we about covered what this is and what's going on. So we'll get to the next article we got going on. What do we have going on here? Oh my god. So this one pissed me off because honestly, no. Exclusives matter, and I don't want to see this. So the fact that there's words that Helldivers 2 may be released on Xbox, but hinges on an agreement between Sony and Microsoft. Developers at Arrowhead Game Studios have clarified that both platform holders need to be on board for an Xbox port to happen. Historically, Sony has been less open to sharing exclusives compared to Microsoft. Helldivers 2 has been extremely successful on PS5 and PC and might influence the decision for an Xbox release. Now, in my head, exclusives matter. Too bad, so sad. It's not coming to Xbox. Jem, did you want to tackle this one? Or do you have an opinion on it? Do you think this game should come to Xbox? Or do you think exclusives matter?
My question would be, if it does come onto Xbox, do you need a PSN account?
Oh,
Ah,
I
that's
hope
funny.
so.
That's
I hope
funny.
so.
How the
I
hell
would
does
assume
how-
so, yeah, because
does
you need a
Sea of
Microsoft account to play Sea of Thieves, don't you?
Yeah, I was just about to ask, how does Sea of Thieves do it?
Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, anyways, no, I think this is a bad idea. The Helldivers 2 is a magnificent game. I put 150 hours into that game, but I think it's too late for an Xbox port. It should have been there at launch. If you release it on Xbox, you're not going to get the sales. I think Sony already knows this as well. I don't see this happening just because it's not going to make money. Maybe in the future for a Helldivers free, then that's just a maybe. But for Helldivers 2, no, I think it's just a bad idea.
But Jem, why do you think they wouldn't get sales if they don't launch at the same time as the original launch? I'm curious about that. Like,
Because
do you,
hype is gone. Like when the game launched, the first
Yeah.
6 months I would say was crazy. You had like, I could only go on Steam numbers here, but it went up to like 200, 300,000 people. Now, if I check, it's probably maybe 20. I'm checking right now actually.
yeah,
Well, Jem, have you thought about this though? That it might not. I mean, they could put it on, say, not give it away free. They could put it on like Game Pass and maybe get more players. It is crossplay, isn't it?
Yes, it is crossplay. So increasing population would be one aspect for it for sure.
But PlayStation themselves are against Game Pass anyways, because they've been asked this a few years ago. People want PlayStation version of Game Pass. Sony said it's just straight up not profitable. So I highly doubt they would put it on Xbox Game Pass.
I don't think that they would put it on Game Pass. I mean, I guess you could look at it as like another source of revenue that people would play the game. Like come bring it to Switch 2 and
But seeing it
Xbox.
on Xbox, I mean, I could see that generating it money. I don't see why it wouldn't generate enough.
It
I
wouldn't.
don't
It
see
wouldn't
why.
generate money, because you have to pay developers to port it onto Xbox.
I think
But
it
would it not be
depends.
like I'm thinking God of War, right? I'm thinking PlayStation's super exclusives that started coming to PC, and the excitement that the PC gamers had about that, and the fact that when those games finally do drop on PC, I don't know the exact numbers. I don't know if the PC numbers are anything compared to the PlayStation console numbers in terms of purchases. But it's kind of like the aftershock of an earthquake, right? Like it kind of revives that game for a little bit. People talk about it again. It gives it
Can I throw?
new numbers. I'm not
Can I,
saying for definite. I just don't know
Yeah,
if you would
let's
definitely be able to
can,
say.
can I throw? Can I throw something in it?
let's yeah, go Ray.
How did BG3 do, guys?
On Xbox or just generally?
Just
I think it
because
also depends on the audience.
we,
Like
we knew that it came out to Stadia and then it was PC and then PC and then they said, you know what, let's put this on Xbox, let's put this on PlayStation. Did you see how like the game just? I mean, the game was already fantastic when it was on PC, but didn't it get a boost when it also got on the consoles as well?
It
yeah,
came to PlayStation 5 at the same time, and Xbox it was worked out to come out at a later date. So a similar thing to this, if this was to come to Xbox as well,
But
it
you
would be
guys are
a
forgetting
similar.
the Xbox player base is literally the smallest out of all the player base.
I mean, but there's
But
still
is it a
like
small enough number
at
to be
least like 30
negligible?
million
I guarantee,
people.
I promise you, it's small enough that Helldivers is not going to do an impact in the Xbox community. It's going to be a huge waste of money.
I think it depends because like I also think that there's a millions of like Halo players on Xbox, and I think they would probably
And
love.
look at the latest Halo Infinite. There's not even 1,000 people on that, and it's free.
Well,
Because
that's
they're
also
looking
the
for a good
PC, not the
because they're
Xbox
looking for a
players.
good multiplayer co-op game out there.
So what
I'm
you're
not
saying,
trying to argue against you,
Jem?
Jem. I was just trying to break it down
yeah.
a bit because
No,
I
but
wasn't
I
Jem,
think
following.
it depends on the
like
cost
the
of the port
I'm
versus how much they want to make.
I'm just explaining. I'm answering your questions.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Jem, I have one more question. What do you think the stats are between people that are on PC that are actually involved in Game Pass and people that actually own an Xbox that are in Game Pass?
I wouldn't know. I would assume this is just my personal take. I have no idea, but I would say the console Game Pass would probably exceed the PC Game Pass.
So I guess what I'm getting at is they just mentioned in a previous article we discussed, or you guys discussed, that it was going to go from 2 million to possibly 4 million. How many of those millions of players are actually PC people trying to get in and not have to pay for the full Call of Duty like brand? You know what I mean? I'm
According
just
to that
curious on
said
how it
same
breaks down.
article, according to that said same article, it's about 70% are actually already Game Pass users from PC. So 70% of people who said, "Oh yeah, I'll pick it up or I'll upgrade for a month," they're PC users already with Game Pass. So it's kind of a weird situation. I don't think it will go because, as Jem said, there's just not enough players on Xbox. It's so small. You've had so many studios say it's just not worth porting. But it's tiny numbers we're talking about.
I wouldn't say like 30 plus million people is tiny.
It is.
For the cost of porting, it is.
Maybe if you compare it to someone, it depends on
You're
what
assuming
kind of
this
sales they're
would be
looking
on
for.
Game Pass. You're assuming this would be on Game Pass.
Right,
Yeah,
and
Game
Baldur's
Pass is
Gate
another
didn't
assumption.
come
I'm
to
not
Game
talking.
Pass.
I mean, you had people buying Halo for years in Call of Duty.
I
Well,
think I would love you to be wrong about it, but I don't. I think you're probably more right than I am. But I would love you to be wrong, and I would love to see Helldivers on Xbox. I would love to see that.
Well, let's just keep it real though. What Microsoft wants to do is to get all of those Call of Duty players to sign up for Game Pass and to continually just keep paying it. And they better hope that the multiplayer is good enough to keep them there. If not, it's a failed experiment.
yeah, I mean, they got Indy around the corner, so they're hoping to keep people from Call of Duty to Indiana Jones and then forget over the holidays. I think it's a decent distraction technique, and we'll see if it works. So I'm sure we'll hear Game Pass numbers next year once the experiment is done. But let's move off of Game Pass and into the deck. That's right. Everybody's favorite mobile gaming device, the Steam Deck. And we've had some news come out about it. And I wanted to get, because we have some Steam Deck owners here with us now, I wanted to get your guys' opinion, because people in this article are saying it's not really fair to your customers. So Valve has confirmed that they won't be releasing new versions of the Steam Deck every year like some other gaming hardware manufacturers. Instead of frequent minor updates, Valve plans to release new Steam Deck models only when there are substantial technological advancements, just like a new generation of gaming. So Valve believes that yearly refreshes put pressure on customers to constantly upgrade, and this can be unfair. So what do you guys feel? I know I've got at least 2 Steam Deck owners on the panel here. Are you for this or are you against this? I could only see there being for it because it makes 100% sense. Only upgrade what's in my hand once the technology is there. But I won't steal the answer. Go for it, Jem. How do you feel about the Steam Deck? And then we'll get Maker's opinion on this.
Yeah, it's great. It's a really good ideology. More companies should follow suit, especially like the smartphone industry. Like every year, what gets upgraded is just minor camera stuff, processor, whatever. But this feels more like a console. Like when you play on the Steam Deck, it's more like a console than a PC. And now it's gonna be released as if it is one as well. Like you're not gonna expect the Steam Deck every year, but it might be every 4 or 5 years when there's big tech upgrades and it's affordable for everyone. So it's good overall. Eventually, when a Steam Deck 2 comes out, it'll be a significant upgrade where you'll be able to play the latest games at that time, with like higher graphics and so on.
With AI upscaling, PSSR?
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
No, PlayStation should take a play from their playbook.
Hey, the PS Pro introduces AI upscaling. I mean, you can say what you want, but that is brand new for a console.
Right, but it's not a huge generational leap forward like they're discussing. They're saying, hey man, we're not going to sell you another Steam Deck with Wi-Fi 7. Like, come on, bro. It's the same. Like, it's going to play the games the exact same way. Like, this is good news for the Steam Deck. It really is, like Jim was saying. It really is. Because, look, it's a no-brainer, man. It's great technology, but what are you going to do if there is no advancement, like any specific one? Like these APUs and stuff take so little power to generate full games. It is incredible, but for them to push one out every year to give you the next Wi-Fi or whatever when it's going to play the game the same doesn't make sense. So I'm totally for this.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I just wanted to add, there was a ROG Ally last year, and then literally a year later, which was a few months ago, they released a new ROG Ally, ROG Ally X or something. So like Asus is already doing a yearly handheld system, it seems, and it just seems, I don't know, like a waste of money to buy something knowing that there's something better next year.
To be fair to Asus on that one, they were correcting a lot of the design flaws with the ROG Ally, so moving the SD card, improving the cooling and the ergonomics complaints of the original Ally. Yes, it's got a slightly better processor and what have you in it, but it doesn't really do anything more. It's mostly just a redesign to actually make it usable and workable.
But they did put double the battery capacity, faster RAM. Like
that's part of the redesign to make it workable and usable. Yeah.
But the people who bought the original, I mean, if they were told, hey, 1 year later you'd get a better one, I'm sure a lot of people would have just waited.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's, I feel like that's with a lot of stuff. You just wait.
Look at iPhones. Look at Galaxies, look at folding phones. People buy them year on year, and the folding phones especially, they're £1,800, £1,900 and dollar devices, and people are buying them year after year.
As a Galaxy owner, I get pissed. I'm so pissed because I sit there and I have this AT&T guy telling me all the the whistles and all the extra shit I get per phone. And then I get home and there's a commercial. Hey, guess what? We got the new Samsung with extra this and extra that. I'm like, what the fuck? So yeah, it sucks, man. It does. I hate that.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
it
I-
obviously works. It's been proven. So companies are going to do it. It's up to us, the consumer, to stop buying it if we want it to stop happening.
Hey, SPG, remember when we bought our TVs?
Yeah, man. I was about to mention
remember,
that. Like, listen,
remember when we went out and bought our fucking TVs?
listen, man. Some of this stuff, can come back to bite you a little bit. Like, I bought a brand new TV, this and that. I have a surround sound. So, like you mentioned, spatial audio earlier. Having a good surround sound is important. But I've got this brand new TV, and you couldn't even connect it to the receiver the same way. It needed an audio back channel. It was just ridiculous, man. And it's one like thing that didn't improve anything. It just sent sound from the TV to the receiver. Like, I don't know, man. Not to go off on a rant, but that spatial audio is so important for somebody that wants to hear footsteps that are taking place fucking behind them instead of off to the side and not know exactly where it's at. It's so important. It's funny that they're selling it.
We got another TV because they had a game hub. The TV that I bought, oh wow, 75-inch TV. Where the fuck is the game hub at? And so bought another TV that had the game hub. So yeah, sucks.
Slight improvements suck a lot, especially for consumers, because like I said, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go buy it for the new Wi-Fi 7? Do you have a Wi-Fi 7 router? Like, what are we doing here, folks?
I think it depends on the type of person. Like if you're the PC person that's going to upgrade every year, like you're gonna get the new GPU that comes out. Then yeah, maybe like, but that's a very like tiny portion of that. I feel like that audience. I prefer waiting a while before releasing a new version. Like I mean, I'd only upgrade my phone once every like at least 3-4 years, and then similarly like with my my PC, I've had mine for like 6 years. So yeah, it depends on the person.
Yep, and that's absolutely the case. There are the people who like to stay on top of everything new. But yeah, smaller population. But hey, there is markets for each and all of this. But you know what there isn't a market for? Assassin's Creed Shadow Early Access officially canceled. And the collector's edition price has dropped by $50. This game... Stop getting bad news. Stop getting bad. Like, I want to hear something good about this. So, Ubisoft has canceled the early access perk that was originally included with Assassin's Creed Shadows Collector's Edition. This decision comes amidst delays and changes upon the game's release. So, to compensate for the removal of early access, Ubisoft has reduced the price of the Collector's Edition by $50. In addition to the delay and early access cancellation, Ubisoft has reportedly scrapped plans for a traditional Seasons Pass for Assassin's Creed Shadow. This might indicate a shift in their post-launch content strategy. So let's give it up to Mr. SPG, because I know he's ripping and raring to talk about some Assassin's Creed. But do you think this game can take any more bad news? And what's the future of Ubisoft? Do you think this game will ever be released?
Before
Ubisoft.
you unwind your coil, SPG, I'm dipping off, boys. It was great being here. Thank you for having me. Have a good rest of your day and rest of your show and rest of your weeks. Bye-bye.
Later,
Take
David.
care, Wilson. Enjoy the pasta.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Toss it over your shoulder. So look, man, Ubisoft,
Who can do that?
who I just had a Freudian slip and called him Lubisoft, but Ubisoft, they're afloat in the ocean, man, and they have a slight cut, and the sharks are circling. Okay, like for the company themselves, man, it's not looking good. But the shift in their focus here has everything to do with Star Wars. People paid $17 to beat Star Wars in less than a month and exit out of their ecosystem, okay? So they saw a huge failure there, as in like game sales go, because I do believe a lot of people did that. Not a lot of people kept their subscription going. They wanted to do it with Assassin's Creed. They wanted people to start their subscription for Star Wars, stick around for Assassin's Creed, and all the updates they were going to give that. But obviously, it's not in the cards for them to make money doing that. It's their version of like Game Pass in a sense. And I think that it failed this time around, especially for Star Wars. I don't know, man. They are bleeding in the ocean and sharks are circling. Even people within their own company are bailing and talking and having strikes, and there's so much involved in Ubisoft. And they're a huge developer, like one of the biggest. So I don't want to see any developer fail necessarily. I don't want to see any game fail, but I do want the industry to learn some lessons and to take them to heart moving forward. And that isn't happening.
Yeah. It is a little bit rocky. What will the future be? Vet, our resident Ubisoft and oh, I see you're on mute. I'll give you a second here in case you want to say something on it. Nope. All right. Ray, anything to add? What do you think the future of Assassin's Creed Shadows will be? And do you think Ubisoft will ever release this game? What's happening here?
It's gonna. I do think the game's gonna come out, but I think we're gonna probably see another Mirage, another Star Wars, as far as fan base, how they feel about the game. Usually something like this, man, it starts all the way from the top. I think, and I've been a Ubisoft. I still have my Ubisoft account. I still have faith in them, but I really wish they would just sell, just go on and sell and join a bigger organization or something and have some people come in and help them out, because it seems like something's wrong with management, and then I don't want to see Ubisoft fail, just like SPG says. Sell Ubisoft, go sell.
To Tencent, apparently. But
I
we'll
hope.
see.
I wish.
Dorgon, I know you're an Ubisoft or Assassin's Creed fan. Any insight into what's going on here? Any sort of analysis on this that you want to share? Obviously, Shadows has taken hit after hit in the media. I think they need something good to come their way.
Shadows will not be the good thing to come their way. This delay is not going to fix the undeniable wrongs that Shadows is performing. It's not an Assassin's Creed game in the vein that Assassin's Creed fans want. And the problem when you're not making a game that your fans want is those fans are not going to buy the game. It's why collector's editions now have less within them from Ubisoft, but cost 3 times as more. Even with that €50 price cut here in Europe, that collector's edition is still €250. I have got most of the collector's editions for Assassin's Creed. The Valhalla one cost me £100, and it came with so much more in the box than what Shadows is offering. They've stolen artwork, they've stolen likenesses, they've been culturally and racially insensitive, which is something that this series is not known for. They are known for being historically accurate and culturally sensitive. They have improved tourism in the likes of Italy and Greece with their releases. This game is a product of Ubisoft as a whole, and it's a product of the last 10 years of operation. The Guillemot family run it like a business. You can't run arts like a business. I know they go hand in hand when it comes to video games. You need to sell these games to make the next one. But when you're trying to make a game that speaks to this wide generic audience, yes, you might get initial sales, but then people are getting the money back by taking it back to the store because it's a generic, boring game. They had 20 million players of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and most of those were through Ubisoft Plus because they could, as SPG was saying, pay $17, £17, which, by the way, is more expensive than Game Pass Ultimate here in the UK. and just play the game for a month and then sod off again. So they're not getting sales for that game, so then they're having to do it in player numbers or measure success in time spent in game. Ubisoft are one of the biggest developers on the planet. They still have 19,000 employees, but their market value as of this week is $1.3 billion. Just to put this in perspective, Bungie, a single studio, was bought by PlayStation 2 years ago for $3 billion. That is how bad the Ubisoft situation is. You could take 32 development studios under your wing for half the price of Bungie. It's a terrible situation, and as others have said, it comes from the top. You need to change the leadership, you need to change the ethos, you need to change how they're making games. You need to start going back into niches.
Yeah, like what, just to touch on something Dorgon was just saying, this isn't necessarily a Ubisoft problem, it's an industry problem. You cater to the fans you have, not to the ones you want. Because if you cater to the ones you want, you're not going to satisfy the ones you already got, and people will flake off. You really have to figure this out. I'm not saying it's easy. There's a lot of money at stake, but something's got to change.
I think the biggest issue is the Ubisoft fatigue more than anything. I think a lot of people are tired of playing the same games over and over again. I think that's the biggest issue. And I mean, while like I will say, like Valhalla, I believe was their most successful game in terms of like revenue. I think that they need to change and need to do something different.
And that is Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Great game. That was something different, but then they closed the studio that made it because it didn't sell 10 million.
Just like they did.
They've closed the Prince of Persia studio because it didn't sell 10 million, even though it's one of the best games of the year.
Well, let's just say none of us are going to fix Ubisoft, so good luck without us, because you're going to need it. And Dorgon, I said
keys, I'll fix it.
I said Ubisoft needed good news, and then you just rained a bunch of bad news. So, yeah.
That's because they're their own worst enemy. How can I help them when they won't do the simple bits?
Right.
All right. Well, I wanted to get into something fun and technology related, and I think this one is going to set the bar on both of those. So I wanted to ask the panel. Elon Musk plans to send 1 million people to Mars over the next 4 years. His plan is to achieve this goal, including the spaceship design, cost, and itinerary. It also details the dangers of the trip and some important points that the trip could take as little as 30 days, and passengers will have the opportunity to play zero-gravity games. Also, the first journey to Mars will be very dangerous. So, these are all points that they're talking about in the article here, but apparently he is looking to send people to Mars. This article was originally brought up a couple years ago, but has later resurfaced as new as this week, and he is talking about it again, trying to get people to Mars. What do people think? Are you signing up to go to Mars with Elon? And why is he trying to get a new planet? I think that's ridiculous.
No,
But
it's stupid. That is the dumbest idea. Has nobody ever seen? Has anybody on this panel seen the movie Total Recall? Do you know how that ended? This is going to end terribly.
Get your ass to Mars.
I mean, we are heading more towards a cyberpunk-ish world, so.
Yeah, and how did that cyberpunkish world work out in Fantasyland?
Okay, let me burst everyone's bubble here. Okay, let me burst it. Yeah, let me stick two fingers in this balloon and pop it. Listen, there is no way in hell we have people on Mars before we have people living on the fucking moon. It's right next to us. End of story.
Or
hold on, but wouldn't that require us to be able to land on the moon? Do we even have that technology?
These are semantics. I'm just saying, before we have people living on Mars, 1 million of them, we're going to have at least a few 100,000 on the moon, right? We got nothing on the moon, bro.
The moon
I heard
is
we got
more of a
garbage on the
rock,
moon.
right? It's hard to build and create atmosphere, as so the science says. But creating a self-sustaining city in 20 years is the objective that he's putting in front of people. And as little as 4 years, people are going to start traveling there and making the city happen. Let's get into it. Gem, are you signing up to go to Mars?
No.
Okay.
That was easy.
No, I get it. I get it. I get it. It's far away and there's no oxygen. Plus, I bet you they wouldn't have any green on Mars.
They're definitely not gonna have.
It'd be a
fiber
cash
optics.
drop.
I mean,
I got another
go
option.
Ray.
Fiber optic.
Go.
Why don't you just send prisoners to Mars? All the bad.
Better option.
No.
Better option.
Yeah, but
Just
choice.
send the
Have a
billionaires.
choice, life
Okay.
in prison or Mars. There you go.
We're gonna
No,
make
no,
a
no,
cosmic
just send
Australia.
billionaires.
A cosmic Australia.
That's something we're
I-
very familiar with Australia.
That's right. Yeah, say we've done it before.
Hate to burst
Oh
your
my
bubble there,
God.
America. Hate to burst your bubble, but we sent more criminals to America than Australia.
Hey,
You're the
those are my
convict nation,
relatives.
sorry. Can I
Hey,
just
they
ask a
were only
flippant
guilty
question?
in your country. But yes, go.
Yeah, true. So this is Elon Musk talking here, right? Same guy who gave us the Cybertruck. Who the hell's trusting one of those rockets?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. You need to
Elon
get on
Musk,
that.
he sets the lofty goals, but we are moving forward, and argue it. There are a lot of people who follow him and who believe in him and who fund him. So
Send
there may
all
be
of those people off the planet and let the rest of us live in peace. Get rid of the morons. Dead easy.
Yeah,
Solves itself.
exactly. I agree.
Eh,
I agree.
Are you implying
so.
that
No
I'm a
one,
moron?
no one here wants to go to Mars.
All
Is
aboard,
anyone-
Vet. Get on.
I would love to go to Mars. Maybe not to stay forever, but like I said, good luck, Elon.
No, thank you. No, thank you. I'd
Not
rather
with
go to
Elon.
Venus.
With NASA, maybe, not Elon.
No, I wouldn't. I would bypass going with NASA. If it was another country's space program, maybe. But you want me to put my faith in?
I mean,
in a U.S.
All right,
government
Pat, you
agency?
strap yourself to a Pakistani rocket. I want to see.
I
this.
mean, if the planet was in danger of
No
exploding, if this
No
planet was in
comment on that.
danger of exploding and we needed to go to another planet, then hell yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's what he's planning for. Maybe he knows something we don't.
Hey, Rudix, I have a question for you though. Do you believe this is even possible without us even doing anything with the moon?
I
The
think,
moon is. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think this is definitely possible. You could definitely design a system, create a structure, create generators there on site. It definitely could happen. Whether or not it's feasible, it would
My
cost
point is, a
astronomical
mission-
numbers for not much gathering of resources or monetary value.
My point is that a Mars mission will not be started from Earth. It's going to be started from the moon. Like, dude, we don't have anything on the moon. There could literally they could make starships in orbit, bro. Like, and I know that sounds like Star Trek shit, but what I'm saying is the moon is going to be so fucking important, and it's going to be a stepping stone to Mars. And without us utilizing the moon, there's no way we're getting to Mars, dude.
And we just pass all the planets and just go straight to the sun. Just go to the sun.
That
So-
sounds like suicide, bro.
There was a 2002 movie that always sticks out in my head, and I know that it may not be science specific, but they tried to do drilling in the moon in the movie The Time Machine, and the moon fell apart and ended up creating an apocalypse on Earth because they tried to put foundations on the moon. And
But
ever
listen-
since that movie, I'm like, maybe they can't build significant structures on the moon because it is simply a big rock.
Well,
My friend,
let me pull
do
something
you know-
from NASA out of my brain. You may or may not agree with, but so, you know, the moon is supposed to be a giant floating rock, but supposedly, if you believe that everything they say, they crashed the lunar orbiter into the moon, and it rang like a bell, like a bell.
The moon.
I'm just going to
ring
come back to what Rudig said and say, don't
Google.
watch the waters of Mars from Doctor Who. You won't want to go there either.
So who knows? Elon does, and he's on his way, and he's
Elon's a
definitely got a
moron.
couple people.
There's no way you can get there in 30 days. That there is just no technology on Earth capable of doing that. You're talking as our absolute pinnacle best rockets and transport and solar winds that we have available. The absolute minimum is 4 months. You're probably looking more at a year plus to get to Mars. He's making outlandish, unrealistic claims, exactly the same as he's done with everything else he's ever tried to sell you. And he will sit there rich whilst you go off into space and die.
That is true. I agree.
Do you guys remember Elon's concept of like transport system under, I think it was LA, where there's like so many highways with automated cars that work under LA, and then when he built it, it was just one tunnel. It was just a tunnel. That was it. But his
Last I checked,
concept
that was called a subway.
But his concept art was like so futuristic and stuff. Had videos of like automated cars just driving under the highway, like under LA. Looked awesome. But no, it was just a tunnel at the end of the day. and they didn't even do that right.
Well, that was my crazy.
Brexit with a rock.
That was my crazy out there story of the week. Thanks everyone for hanging out on the download. We'll be back at the same time next week, as always, talking about more gaming, tech, and craziness. And plus, if you're interested, Mr. Jeff told me that there is a brand new Prime number out there. So in case you're interested, go search that up, because Prime numbers. But yes, let's get into what everyone's going to be up to, where you can find people. Let's give some shout outs before we head off here. And we'll start with Callie, who was playing some, what were you playing yesterday? Killing Floor 2.
Yeah, I know, it's hard to remember now that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is out.
It's the only thing that matters.
Yeah, tonight I plan on streaming some Ghostbusters, so come on by around 10 p.m. Mountain Time, and I'll be streaming some Ghostbusters on my YouTube channel.
Nice. And Oregon. Thanks for joining the panel.
Live.
Where can... Yeah.
I was live before coming here. I brought everybody to you. I brought you my audience. It was lovely.
Yes, thank you for the live redirect. Appreciate that.
I've got a review in the works. I'm in the testing phase of it at the moment. So it came through the post earlier this week, just trying it out. And then otherwise, there's a couple of live streams from this week. I'm still trying to beat Power World, but my pals keep getting stuck in things. They're annoying. And then there's some stupid Canadian who keeps bettering his time with his whole self-employed shenaniganery on Astrobot, who I need to beat severely with a stick.
Wow.
Yeah, a little tougher than you thought to beat old Rudigs. A little tougher.
Is that why they call you the king, Rue?
Yeah. Well, that's for fantasy football reasons.
I just thought.
Like I said, Rudigs, I'm gonna start calling you Elvis. Yeah.
Oh.
Gotta buy him a back scratcher so he can scratch his ears.
Yeah. My ego needs to be taken down. So Phoenix is right. Someone please dethrone me. I definitely won't be holding my standings after this week. Ray hasn't given me zero advice. Come on. But let's get into it. Gem,
I'll be taking
what? Where can people find you if you're looking to be found?
As always, I'll find you.
And Maker's on mute, so we'll skip. Okay, guys, so stop dreaming about Gem, and let's get to SPG. Where can people find you?
Not in Gem's dreams. But you can find me at Simply Pwned over at YouTube. I play some stuff from time to time.
And there we go. Ed. Supreme Vet. What's
Yes.
going on?
I don't have anything going on. The only thing I really have going on is hanging out in the Discord with you fine people. And Tuesday nights, I have this wonderful sports show with my good friend Ray, where we talk football when he shows up on time, and give our predictions for the upcoming weeks in the NFL season.
Well,
And Ray, what do you got going on this week?
I do this football show with this special person who has Down syndrome, and also I do the Rock and Ray show on Thursdays, and Wreckfest on Saturday nights, and then me and Houston will be playing Once Human in a new server. And yeah, check it out. It's gonna be it's supposed to be the way of the winter, so everything is cold. It gets colder, so I can't wait to play in that new server, and I can't wait to play some Call of Duty on Game Pass.
All right, everyone. Well, thanks for hanging out as always. And thanks for contributing to the download this week. You can find the download each and every week, plus the clips posted to Cloud&Console. And we got so much more content on the channel, so be sure to check it out. Super PlayStation Bros, Cloud&Console, the Cloud Gaming Podcast. And we got Among Us on Tuesday night, so be sure to hang out for that and so much more. We'll check you on the flip side. Until then, be kind out there, because being nice is the right thing to do. All right, I'm out of here.
Try to believe in me. Why try do I even need to? I die with the season leaves. I glide with the season breeze. True, my mind so easily spooked. I ride just to be the me. Oh, finds hype super decently smooth. Nice type, but as sick as